The Shvetashvatara Upanishad in simple English, Part 3, Conclusion. Chapter 5. Knowledge and ignorance are both hidden within the imperishable, infinite, highest Brahm. Knowledge is immortal and it leads to immortality, while ignorance is perishable and is the cause of bondage, leading to death and rebirth. And he who controls them both is yet another, distinct from either. He is the one and the only God. He rules over every single source. He rules over all forms and he rules over all sources. He who bears everything and every being in his thoughts. He watched over the first created, the fiery Hiranyagarbha, when he was born, and he endowed him with all powers. Hiranyagarbha or Brahma, the creator, is the intermediary, is the link between the one supreme Lord and the created world. The God who spreads out one net after another in different ways and then again pulls the net together in the world. That Lord, having again created the other lords, then exercises his sovereignty and lordship over them all. As the sun shines, illumining all the regions above, below, and across, so too does that adorable, glorious, one God rule over whatever creatures are born from a womb. He rules over all those who themselves are the sources of world existence, such as the elements of earth, fire, water, air, and ether. He is the source of all. He develops his own nature. He brings to maturity whatever can be ripened. He distributes all qualities. He, the one God, rules over this whole world. That which is hidden in the Upanishads, which are hidden in the Vedas, Brahma knows that Parambrahm as the source of the Vedas. The gods and the seers of old, the ancient sages who knew this, they also came to be of its nature and have, in truth, become immortal. But the individual soul, who has the qualities of the attributes of nature, who is the doer of deeds and actions that result in the fruit of those deeds and actions, he is the enjoyer, certainly, of whatever he has done. He most certainly gets the fruit of his actions, assuming all forms characterized by the three qualities of Satgun, Rajagun, and Tamagun, and treading the three paths of Dharma, Adharma, and wisdom. He, the ruler of the vital breaths, the individual soul, the Jeev Atma, wanders about in the worlds according to his deeds. He is the size of the thumb. He appears radiant like the sun. He is endowed with thought and self-sense, but with only the qualities of understanding and the self. He seems to be of the size of the tip of a needle. The living self, though 100th part of 100th part of the point of a hair, yet it is capable of infinity. The individual soul, though apparently tiny in size, has the potential of infinity. The soul is not male, it is not female, nor is it neuter. It is held by whatever body it decides to take. The embodied soul is born and develops by means of thought, by means of touch, by means of sight, by means of passions, and by the abundance of food and drink. According to his deeds, the embodied soul assumes various forms successively in various conditions. The embodied soul chooses and assumes many shapes, gross and subtle, according to his own qualities, having caused his union with them himself through the qualities of his acts and through the qualities of his assumed body. He is seen as another. He is seen as a totally different being. He who is without beginning and without end, who is untouched and unmoved in the midst of chaos, the creator of all, of many, many forms, who alone embraces the entire universe, he who knows that one God, he is freed from all fetters and bonds of ignorance and its resultants of desire and action. He who is to be grasped by the mind, who is called bodiless, who makes both existence and non existence, the kindly, the benevolent, the auspicious, the maker of creation and its parts, the divine one. They who know him have left the body behind. End of chapter 5. Chapter 6. Some wise men speak of inherent nature as the first cause. Others speak of time as the first cause. But both are deluded and do not know the truth. It is in fact the greatness of the one God in the world by which the Brahma wheel, the wheel of creation, is made to turn, by which the wheel of the cosmic process rotates. He it is by whom the whole world is always enveloped, by the knower, by the author of time, by the possessor of qualities and of all knowledge. Controlled by him, this work of creation of the world unfolds itself, that by which is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Having created this work and having rested again, he entered into union with the essence of the self, by one as Purush, by two as Purush and Prakriti, nature, by three as the attributes of nature, as Satgun, harmony and goodness, as Rajagun, fire and passion, and as Tamogun, darkness and evil, or by eight, the five cosmic elements, the mind, understanding, and the self sensor or ego, or by time too, and by the subtle qualities of the self, the affections of the mind, such as love, anger, and the like. The Lord, having begun with works associated with the three qualities, with the three attributes of nature, distributes all that exists and gives to each and every thing its, and to each and every being his or her place in nature. In the absence of the three qualities of nature, when we rise above and transcend them, and when we dedicate all our work to God, then there is destruction of the work that has been done. And in the destruction of work, man will not be subject to the law of karma. Since then, that person, his work destroyed, his bonds destroyed, and his nature purified, moves on, different from all things, different from the results of ignorance, knowing himself to be Brahm. He is the beginning. He is the source of all the causes which unite the soul with the body. He is to be seen as beyond the three kinds of time. He is to be seen as beyond the past, the present, and the future, and as one without parts. After having worshipped first that one adorable God who has many, many forms, and he assumes the form the worshipper wishes to worship, who is the origin of all beings, and who abides in one's very own thoughts. Param Brahm Parameshwar is higher and different than all the forms of the world tree and of time too. It is from him that this world revolves. It is he who brings good and removes evil. He is the Lord of prosperity. When one knows Him as being within one's own self, as the immortal, and as the support of all, then such a one attains Brahm. He in whom is the supreme Lord of Lords, who is the highest deity of all the deities, the supreme master of all masters, who transcends everything. Let us know Him as God, as the adorable Lord, and as the Lord of the world. There is no action and no organ of His to be found. There is not seen His equal or His better. His power is revealed to be diverse and many indeed. The working of His intelligence and strength is inherent in Him, is within Him. These are integral to Him. In this world, He has no master, He has no ruler, nor is there any mark of Him. He is the cause, He is the Lord of the lords of all the sense organs. He is the Lord of all the presiding deities of the sense organs. He does not have a father or a mother or an ancestor or a lord. The one God who, according to His own nature, covers Himself like a spider with threads produced from pradhan, from nature, from unmanifested matter, may He grant us entrance into Brahm. The one God who is hidden in all beings, who is all pervading, who is the inner self of all beings, who is the ordainer of all deeds, who dwells in all beings, who is the witness, who is the knower, who is the only one, and who is devoid of all qualities. He is the one, controller of the many, who Himself is inactive. It is He who makes the one seed into very many. The wise who perceive Him as abiding in their own self, to them belongs eternal happiness, and not to others. He is the eternal among the eternals. He is the intelligent among the intelligences. He is the one among the many. He is the one who grants the desires. That cause which is to be apprehended by the discrimination of the Sankhya wisdom and by the discipline of Yoga. By knowing that one God, one is freed from all fetters, one is freed from all bonds. The sun does not shine there, nor the moon, nor the stars, nor the lightnings, nor even the fires. Everything shines only when He shines. Everything shines only after He shines. It is by His light that all these are illumined. The sun, the moon, the stars, the lightnings, and the fires too. He is the one bird, the highest soul, which destroys the source of bondage in the middle of the world. He indeed is the fire that has entered into the ocean of the world. Only by knowing Him does one cross over death. Only by knowing Him does one go beyond death. There is no other path for going there. He is the maker of all. He is the knower of all. He is the self-caused. He is the knower. He is the author of time. He is the possessor of qualities. He is the knower of everything. He is the ruler of both nature and the spirit, the soul. He is the Lord of all the qualities. He is the cause of all worldly existence. He is the cause of liberation. He is the cause of continuance of everything, and He is the cause of its bondage too. It is the Supreme Lord who binds, who sustains, and who dissolves all worldly existence. Becoming that, becoming the Lord, becoming immortal, and existing as the Lord, the knower, the omnipresent, the guardian of this world, is He who rules this world forever, for eternity, for eternity. For no other cause is found for the ruling of the world, for no one but the Lord is able to rule the world. To Him who of old in ancient times created Brahma and who also delivered to him the Vedas, to that God who shines by the radiance of his own light and intelligence, do I, eager for liberation, resort to for refuge and salvation. To him who is without parts, who is without activity, who is tranquil, who is beyond reproach, who is without blemish, who is the highest bridge to immortality, who is like a fire with its fuel spent, do I resort to for refuge. When men shall roll up space as if it were a piece of rubber, then only will there be an end to sorrow. Till that happens, there is no other way for ending sorrow than through the knowledge of God. By the power of austerity and by the grace of God, the wise sage Shwetasavatar spoke about Brahma, the supreme, the pure, in proper manner to the advanced ascetics, to the very highest order of the ascetics. He spoke what is pleasing. He spoke what is pleasing to the company of seers and sages. This is the highest mystery in the Vedanta which has been declared in a former age. This knowledge should not be given to unworthy ones, or even to those sons or pupils who have not subdued their passions. These subjects which have been declared here shine forth to the high souled one who has the highest devotion for God and for his spiritual teacher as for God. Yes, they shine forth for the high souled one. End of chapter 6, end of part 3 of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, end of the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Om Shanti 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 Om.